of the Mesozoic, starring Craig Smith, Donald Vaughn Griffin, Karen Torres, Leslie Denneberger, me, GM Brandon Blackmore. So let's turn this down a little bit. The rockin' tunes. Okay, so last week, I'll give you a little recap because it's not last week; it's more like last
month
and a half, practically.
Yeah.
It's been a long ass time. All right, here we go. The Smith Gang, that's you guys, called, and the townspeople are calling that because you hang out at the smithy, which is why they've started calling you that, the Smith Gang. Returns to tranquility, which is the town, with your rescued friends, the townsfolk you rescued from the Aztecs who had kidnapped them, and presumably with the intention of sacrificing them or making slaves of them, or both, slavery before sacrifice. Only to discover, when you get back, that the Hag of Crag Keep had poisoned the town's grain with ergot. Hundreds of people were desperately ill. Fortunately, Isco was able to heal them, and nobody died. So, yay! Hurry for Isco. And so that's cool. Oh, I should have added a link for the doctor. Let's see. With the aid of Doc Sue. I'll add that. Isco with the aid of Doc Sue. This is Doc Sue. Friendly fella. From San Francisco. Okay, so there's that. Where are my notes? Okay, here we go. With the aid of Dr. Sue, and no one dies. The Smith Gang, that's you, decide you've had enough. It's time to take the fight to the Hag of Crag Keep. So Captain Harrows and his automata, and here's one of those, typical Mark II Harrows automata. Automaton, rather. This would be an automaton. Singular is automaton.
Is that like second generation?
This is the second generation. The first generation looked a whole lot more like someone's silverware drawer dumped into a pile that just happened to come out roughly humanoid looking. And those built these. And then... So, where else were we? Okay, so Captain Harrows builds a land vehicle, and here's the land vehicle, out of the remains of the mobile broadcast van, and parts from the locomotive, and parts from the junk pile over at the general store. So... The front is on the left, by the way. The tall part is the front. So, in case you can't tell.
I was thinking the end with all the spiky bits sticking out was the front. Oh, same place.
Same place. All right. All right.
And now you see why I had it spinning around in circles, chewing up velociraptors.
There you go.
Raptors.
Along the way toward Crag Keep. Let me just open these up in a row to be easier. All right. You pass the Valley of the Floating Mesas, which is that. And you see many strange sights. And eventually, you guys all saw those, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Eventually, you get to your destination, which is Crag Keep. Oh, you get to the Haunted Forest, the edge of the Haunted Forest, and way off in the distance, poking above it, like through the fog and the clouds and the rain and stuff, you see Crag Keep, which is that. Way, way, way off in the distance. So, you stop at, let's see, where are my notes? Okay, the land machine can't make it through the haunted forest, and the harpies circling Crag Keep would make flying there unwise. So, let me change that. In my notes, I say impossible. It's possible, it's just unwise. Because they're mean. They're very mean. Harpies are not, they're just not very nice.
So land vehicle Mark II needs giant chainsaws on the front. Gotcha.
Okay. So you stop at a small inn, the House of the Dragon. Hang on, and I'll share. This is the thingamabob hanging outside the House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon. A small inn on the edge of the haunted forest, which is, normally where you'd expect to find such a place. And let's see. The garlic in the windows gives you some pause, as I recall. This is what it looks at the outside. And it always seems kind of overcast and either like it just got dark or it's early morning and still cloudy. It's got this perpetual gloom about the area. But anyway, there's the House of the Dragon. Oh, I did not mean to close that. All right. Then you're attacked by scores of Utah raptors, basically. Dinosaurs. Literally dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of Utah raptors. And the battle is a pitched one. The land machine is damaged, but you make it inside the inn to safety. And here's the inside of the inn, which is a cozy place. The inn. A cozy place. And the innkeeper,
Vlad, if I recall.
Innkeeper Vlad. He hasn't introduced himself yet, but I told you his name was Vlad.
Yeah.
He says, enter freely, depart safely, and leave some of the happiness behind some of the happiness you bring. You get the impression this is like
that's the part that worries me. Leaving behind. Yeah, no, leaving behind happiness. That's the part that worries me. So let's see what he means by that.
Well, enter. Welcome to my house. And he's got like a thick Russian accent. He says, okay, welcome to my house. Enter freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring. That's what he says.
It's a nice greeting.
Okay.
It's a nice greeting. The Utah Raptors follow you into the inn. And again, there are just dozens and dozens of them. And somebody, he tells you that once you sign in and become a guest of the house, that you receive all of the amenities of the House of the Dragon. And you guys fight for a while, and then somebody, I think Isco, actually makes it to the counter and signs the ledger.
Actually, knocked out or something, and they were doing a looking at Bernie's thing with my hand.
Yeah, Isco got knocked out, so Erlang signed him in.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yes.
I missed all this, I think.
Yeah, Isco grabbed, Erlang grabbed Isco's hand and made a mark on the page, and that seemed to be enough.
At which point, autocannons pop up out of several surfaces, mow down the Utah Raptors. And more keep pouring in, but eventually they stop pouring in. And the autocannons, power down and go back in the walls. Guy behind the counter does not seem to he just takes it all completely normal Tuesday. So
Right. No, I'm just thinking some of those would be great in tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are just standing there, and he's behind the counter. He says, "Oh, I apologize for the mess. Nico, Rita, clean up. What is this? Look at this mess." And a few really attractive looking, young, pale, dark haired people, young men and women come out. Very Renaissance fair looking, but not like knights and ladies Renaissance fair, more like peasants Renaissance fair, because they're not real peasants because they're way too clean, and they've got all their teeth, and they're just way too healthy. So, but they're dressed that way. Like a young guy, Mikal, he comes out. He's got like brown pants and a white pirate shirt, and
Probably a little embroidery around it.
well, yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. Like embroidery around the cuffs and around the collar, on the girls too. Anyway, so let's say three of these young people come out and they get push brooms and they start cleaning up the floor. At which point, everybody, make a roll. And what kind of roll is this going to be? I gotta look it up. Excuse me. Do. Where did I put it? I will look. I'll look here. I believe it is a reason perception roll. Oh no, not reason. Presence. I knew I had to look that up for a reason. It is a presence perception roll. So what you do is you roll 2d6. If you have perception as a skill, you roll 2d6. If you don't, you roll 1d6. And then you add your presence to that, because this is kind of a mental thing. And I will roll against you. Because
Ew. Okay, that was terrible.
I didn't roll too bad.
7 total.
Skill.
Yeesh, that may actually fail. This is not a hard roll.
11.
14.
7.
Okay, who rolled more than 10?
I did.
Kieran? Okay. Oh, shut up!
And
My stupid phone.
Somehow Google liked that when you said that. I don't know why.
Apparently. It's been doing it a lot lately. Just random conversation. My phone's like, here's some... It's like, what the...
There as well.
Shut
'Cause
up!
on my Google Home here as well.
it's happening here too, especially when I'm in Donald's room.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, that's because I've got mine trained for all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
Isco.
Mine actually responded when I said Google and then honey immediately afterwards.
To Captain Harrows and Michael, to differentiate the peasant boy who works there, young man. He's less like 20. Mikhail. Well, I'm going to call him Mikhail to separate him from Michael. But anyway, Michael and Captain Harrows, you're focused on other things right now. So it's not that you are... it's not that reality looks different to you. You just haven't noticed yet. Okay, just so we're clear. But
Okay.
Isco and Dr. Anna, as you look at the young people pushing their push brooms, two things are immediately very, very, very obvious. One, when they push the push brooms toward all of the dead creatures on the floor, they don't push piles of creatures forward. The push broom goes forward, and where it passes, it just kind of erases the dead things on the floor. They just... there's no sound. I'm making a sound. But it makes like a push broom sound, like shh, 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 like that. But it just, like, it erases them from existence. There's no pushing them around, that is unusual.
Yeah.
The other thing is the things that are dead on the floor are not lizards. They're not dinosaurs. They are horseflies, about the size of a loaf of bread.
They were surely dinosaurs when they came in and we killed them, right? Or the guns killed them.
Well, you guys killed plenty, but then the autocannons that popped out of the walls and ceiling killed lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots more until they stopped coming. But these are most definitely loaf of bread sized horseflies, not dinosaurs.
Not the things that attacked us. Not the things that got shot.
Not the things that you remember getting shot. No.
Okay. Well, I don't remember any of this. I don't even notice this weirdness. But you know.
Well, you remember finding the dinosaurs though, right? You were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But I'm too busy thinking about how much I want to take these autocannons back to Tranquility to notice what they're doing with the brooms.
Yeah, you're not looking down at the floor. You're looking up where the autocannons went back in the ceiling, which is interesting because the ceiling is like what?
I'm like, what's the deal?
And I'm concentrating on not turning my back on Vlad.
Right. So you're focused on Vlad, who's just Vlad's just very pleasantly standing behind the counter with his hands on the counter. Captain Harrows is looking at the ceiling, wondering where did the autocannons come out of? Because as you're looking at the ceiling, it's exposed beams and like very ornately worked plaster and like a kind of a spiral pattern. You don't see anywhere the autocannons could have come out of. So that's interesting. Meanwhile, Isco and Dr. Anna looking at the ground to see what's going on down there. Isco elbows Captain Harrows.
Yeah.
Hmm?
What is the what? That's not what it was. It's what?
I looked to see what the what is what.
You see what I described to them. A, the push brooms are not sweeping so much as they are erasing. And B, that the floor is not covered by dead dinosaurs, it is covered by dead horseflies, the size of a loaf of bread.
Interesting.
No, I don't like that before. I know it.
Vlad, guy behind the counter, who has not actually introduced himself as Vlad yet, but a guy behind the counter says, would the rest of you like to sign in?
Sure. Why?
There's a...
Note to self, get a good look at these push brooms.
It's a big, open, handmade book, like hand-bound book. There's a ink pot about half as tall as a soda can, and a 2-foot-long quill pen that is just a feather. And so you can sign. Anybody who, just quick question: who signs in, who doesn't?
Well, I didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah, Isco vaguely remembers signing in. It's kind of fuzzy.
Kind of like my signature.
You think you signed in? What was going on? You're just not really. Okay. Does Dr. Anna sign in? You say?
Sure.
Did
All right.
he use the word hospitality of the end, or did he just use amenities?
Hey, Leslie, you sound like you're really far away. Is your mic? Can it be made somewhere closer to you?
Is it good enough? It's
Talk.
hanging around my neck.
I think the issue last time was selecting it on your computer. Make sure you actually use it.
It's sitting on my neck because I'm finding out I can hear you better.
Okay. When you're moving, here's the thing. I don't think you're using your microphone because you're moving it around and your sound does not change at all. So I don't think you're actually using your microphone. I think you're using the mic in your laptop.
Is it
Can you
plugged
switch? There's a little gear in Google Hangouts so you can select what thing it's listening to.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. I've got this whole thing that just came up. It's not moving.
Upper right-hand corner, if you hover in Google Hangouts, it'll have a gear and you can select what microphone it's using.
I just made the microphone go up in sound level, and it's still not hearing.
You sound exactly the same.
It says default microphone.
Default would probably be your laptop's internal microphone.
If you click the thing next to microphone, it should have a list, and one of those things should say headphones. Is this sounding remotely familiar to what you're looking at, or?
Now I can't even hear her.
Yep, nope, that totally didn't work.
So how's things going, Craig?
Hey, great. How's that job search going?
I haven't actually started looking. I need to,
Wait.
but I need to
Does
polish
this
up
help?
my resume. Hey,
Is it
There we go.
differences with your current organization?
it's a whole thing. Hey, say talk some, Leslie.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Much better
That's all better.
Okay.
at the
That
moment.
was what-
Lean back to how you normally sit and talk.
Okay, okay, we're good now?
Outstanding. It's
Okay, cool.
night and day. All right, can you hear us? Okay.
No. Oh yeah, I'm hearing you fine. That's why I took off the headset because it's uncomfortable on my head. I can hear you better on the just by listening through the computer.
Okay. Well, you sound
But I was
fine,
asking-
and if we sound fine, we'll move on. So, what were you
Okay.
saying about hospitality?
I was wondering how he worded it. Did he offer hospitality or the amenities of the inn?
What he actually said was the amenities of the house, is what he said.
Yeah, I'll sign in.
Does Donald? Sorry, Captain Harrows? Are you still bemused by the push brooms?
Yeah. Between that and the guns, but yeah. Read the first page and last page of the book just in case there's fine print.
Last page is empty. First page is lists of names that people have handwritten in it.
Okay, groovy. It's not like the undersigned do whatever or something on the fly page or something stupid like that.
No.
I did not
Okay,
sign
in that case,
Michael.
yeah, no problem signing in.
I did not sign Michael. I signed the name of the space Viking.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's not the bartender, the innkeeper. He's not hovering over you going, yes, yes. He's nothing like that. So he's just waiting patiently. However, Captain Harrows, you have powers and abilities far beyond those of ordinary men. So hang on, you get to make a roll that nobody else gets to make. Let me find your character sheet and tell you what that roll is.
I get to talk to the book?
No, you don't. That's silly. Why would you talk to a book? That's just nuts. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, make a presence plus power level roll, and I will roll against you.
Okay, 2d6.
Just 2d6, yeah. Where did I put my... Oh, there it is. 8, 3... 11. You need an 11.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Exactly? Wow.
I rolled a 4.
All right.
I have a 3 and a 4, so yeah.
Outstanding. You rolled a 4? Wow, your rolls are sucking today. All right. Well, you sign your name.
Brandon, I have rolled 3 4s in a row tonight.
You sign your name. And as you're getting ready to put the quill back, you realize the quill is talking to the house. And as you pay attention and listen to it, you realize this quill bears as much resemblance to a quill pen as this phone does to one of those wall-mounted wooden boxes with a little microphone on the front that you crank the handle to use the phone.
Right. Fascinating. Wireless communication. Where's your data banks?
Who are you asking?
The keeper, the man of the house. What?
He's like, you don't need to worry about that.
Oh, no worry, my good man. I'm just very, very interested.
Worry not about the details.
At exactly 11, I'm not going to tell you what exactly it was saying to the house, but it was conveying a lot of information to the house.
Okay.
So, anyway, or whatever. So he's like, oh, don't worry about that, my friend. So, what can I do for you? Do you want drinks, dinner and drinks, spend the night, companionship? I assure you, our food is good, our liquor strong, our beds are soft, and the young people who work here are warm. So, and our price is very reasonable.
I wouldn't mind eat all of the above. That'd be fantastic.
Ah, great. All of the above is 172.
What?
For
We did how much it
dinner,
was, right?
drinks, room, companionship, 172.
This is money. I don't know what that means exactly.
What type of money do you use here? What currency?
Yeah.
Oh, minutes, of course. Huh, not hour. You thought hours? Yeah, we are not so fancy. No,
Minutes?
minutes, my friend.
Would that be minutes off our lives?
Okay, by the way, this does not have a high reason, so he wouldn't have no idea who he's talking about.
Hey, he
What?
looks over at Captain says, yeah, minutes off life.
Ah.
Oh.
I assume they're the ones at the end, which pretty much suck anyway, so.
It kind of has to be, wouldn't it? I mean, otherwise you die, come back to life. How would that work? But
Okay,
room
this is bizarre.
includes all meals, all drinks. Dinner includes all drinks. But if you just want to have a drink, it's 14.
Oh, if people are planning to stay the night, I guess we're all staying the night.
182? That's like, what is that, like, that's like no, that's like 3, yeah, what, 3 hours?
Just shy of 3 hours.
This is Cisco, remember? Yeah, not the service.
Oh, that was Isco talking out loud. I thought it was you. I was like, wait, you don't know how many minutes or an hour? How much have you had to drink? So, all right.
Wow.
Sorry, Isco's talking out loud. I'm sorry.
Hours. I can add up.
If you don't, so anyway, drinks, 14, dinner, 52, room for the night, which includes drinks and dinner, 125, and with companionship, total is 172.
Huh.
So he gestures at Isco and says,
Okay.
full package for you. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah?
Well, actually, yeah.
An attractive young man, an attractive young woman walk up to you and both kind of like throw out a hip. Says, take a peek.
Oh, okay. Girl, please.
Girl winks at the boy winks back at the girl, and he leaves. So, to everyone else, he just looks at you expectantly, like you're going to tell him what you want.
Yes. So I'm presuming we're all getting rooms. I guess. All right.
Isco is.
Yeah, Isco. Yeah, I don't think we want to leave until before dawn. With the looks of it.
Oh, where are you on your way somewhere? Where are you going?
We must have a polite discussion with a neighbor about being neighborly.
Okay.
Really? Oh, you're going to the village.
The castle.
He's pouring a drink as you say that, and he looks up and he there's like a thunk as he puts it down. He's like, "Could I keep?" You say, "Could I keep?"
Yes. She was very impolite and needs to be given a talking to.
So you are not invited. It's not my business, but I will tell you, if you plan to go through haunted forest, young lady is right. Do not go at night. You will probably also die in the daytime, but at least then you can see what kills you.
Which is always a
Fair enough.
Better to go out fighting, rather than simply being killed in the night by something you can't see. Yes, that's what I have always said.
I can agree with that.
He pours a glass of wine and hands it to the girl, who hands it to Isco.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I guess room and a meal. 2 hours off your life.
Room and a meal sounds fine for me.
Wonderful.
I have no idea how you legislate that, but I guess I'll find out eventually.
Oh, please be seated. Your meals and drinks will be brought to you while your rooms are prepared.
I wonder if there's anything that we have that he would want we could trade.
I'm sorry,
Any
what?
information. I'm just wondering with the group that, without Vlad there, that I'm wondering if there's anything that he would want that we might have that we could trade as well.
Hours. I mean,
Mhm.
clearly minutes of our life, but
Yeah. That's clearly what they run on here.
Right, but there may be other means of exchange.
Could be. If you guys do you guys sit at a table or what? The young people come out and they like start setting out plates and forks and knives and spoons and glasses and so forth. Put a few bottles of wine on the table. Fill up some bottles of wine. The service is very good. And unless there's something you want to do in the next hour and a half, we can just fast forward through dinner, which is really good. It's all very primitive. It's like roasted chicken, big hunk of roasted meat, a bunch of different vegetables are spiced with paprika and garlic and basil, that kind of thing. Some chopped up potatoes. So it's all very. It's not ornate, but it's all very good.
in the end, that's all that matters.
Is there anything in the food that maybe ought not be there?
Like what?
I don't know, things that like this world is obviously very different, and some things aren't here that we would expect from our home world.
Oh,
for
like
example.
some kind of weird vegetable you never heard of?
Well-
No, it all seems very. They are European vegetables, so they're not exactly American vegetables, and not knowing that much about the differences, I can't tell you what those differences are. But in general, they're the normal vegetables you'd expect to see.
The carrots aren't orange because they're not Dutch.
So, the real question, actually, maybe one of the scientists would be able to answer that. Would think of this more than Isco would.
Actually,
are there things-
Dr. Anna. Dr. Anna's the. Wait, who's the botanist person? Is that Dr. Anna? Or is that Michael?
Probably me.
That's Michael.
It's
Michael.
probably one of the sciences.
like what things ought not have.
Oh, and that's right. Michael's like the reenactor type person, right? So you probably run into this kind of thing
And I'm
before.
also a biologist, cryptobiologist.
Yeah. So from time to time, Michael will stab something with his fork and like look at it and go like, "This is actually a so and so," which was what was commonly eaten by damn near everybody up until around 1600, where it became replaced by this other vegetable that was easier to grow or whatever, something like that.
That's kind of my point, is that ought not exist here on this world.
No, it's not that. Well,
We're here.
what, it's an alien. What should exist? I don't know. But the point being, they're not from outer space. Is the point I'm getting at.
They're, I'm
It's
sure
all
this is
Earth vegetables.
This is probably another piece of Earth that got ripped away by a storm and brought here, and yeah.
Yeah, luckily it looks like they maybe kept their garden with them.
Yeah.
You
Or
think?
from another dimension, or we don't. Yeah.
Anyway, right around the time that you're done eating dinner, three ragged people come in. They are dressed kind of like peasants or cowboys, except the materials that their clothes are made out of are all weirdly Mad Max looking. Like this two guys and a woman, and one of the guys has a cowboy hat, basically, but it's made out of aluminum foil. And the woman has a vest and a dress, and the vest is made of bubble wrap. Like stuff like that.
Wait. Is this a cowboy with paper chaps?
Yeah.
Paper? No, not paper. I mean, it's sturdy. They're not.
Okay. Okay, so they're not rustlers.
Oh. Oh no.
Paper. I get it. Rustling paper, right? Is that the joke?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. No.
That was bad.
No.
That was very bad.
However, they look like they have been chewed up. Oh, speaking of which, you guys have suffered various injuries as a result of the attack on the land machine, right? But as you look at your injuries, and I suppose Isco's kind of the guy who'd be the one taking care of this kind of thing. Like you wrap up your dinner and then take care of. The bites, they are not lizard bites; they are insect bites.
Huh.
Really large insect bites, but insect bites.
Hmm.
Huh. Okay.
Anyway, some people come in, and they've got the same injuries that you guys had up until Isco healed you. And they are like all out of breath, and like they look really afraid, and they like hunker down and they like look out the window, and it says, "Please, please, they're coming!" Like that.
Yeah, back away from the door. Give them clearer view of the book. I want to see it from this side, not this time.
um, uh, while you've been eating, you haven't seen Vlad. You've only seen the servers, and there's Vlad behind the counter again, and he's like, "Oh, welcome back, my friends. Oh, are you having trouble?" And like, yes, they're coming. He's like, don't worry, you're safe. You're safe. Please have a seat. And they come sit down. They like look nervously at the windows and at the door and stuff. Nothing comes in though. And a couple of servers come out and give them like glasses of water. And they gulp it down and they're muttering to themselves, just like, "That's the worst I've ever seen. I've never seen a group that big. It's like it's getting worse. It's getting worse all the time." So, hint: this is the side thing. So you kind of have to follow up on this, or not. If you guys have something, what, Greg?
What's getting larger? What's getting larger all the time?
Well, I have a good idea at this point. I have a very good idea.
The attacks. It was spiders, and then it was bears, and what even were those? He's like, I think they were flying spiders. Flying spiders? It's like, but every time there's like a bigger and bigger group of them.
Or horseflies the size of a loaf of bread.
Like I said,
He's like, yes, every time. Whenever they're gone, whenever we fight them off or not, whatever's left behind are these gigantic flies.
Holograms. So we're being attacked by giant flies, and they're being hologrammed to look like something else. I get it now.
yeah, and they're going to get worse so that we can be we don't leave, and eventually we will give up our lives.
What?
I kind of figured that out already.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you live longer than you would as a coal miner, but not as long as you would as a sailor.
What? Who? They just like, look at you guys. It's like how weirdly dressed you are, and they're like, well, who are you people? What do you know about this? You're not the ones who are doing this, are you?
No, not gonna.
No. Although I suspect a very rude young lady is behind it.
Or a vampire.
Kind of fire.
Let's see.
Uh-oh. I'm hearing silence loud enough to drop a pin.
I'm still here. Oh, come on.
So it occurs to me that I doubt the land vehicle has been as damaged as we think it has been.
Provided it's still there and unscavenged when we get out in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, I will tell it to hurt anyone who tries to steal parts off of it.
Yes, that's a very good idea.
Yeah, somebody's stolen.
Yeah, Brandon, I do want to like check on the
I'll be right back.
on the vehicle. Make sure it's still functional, ready for us to make an escape if we need to.
Well, after dinner or whatever, you go outside and
Yeah.
check on it, and it's dark out, but there's like lanterns hanging on the building, and I assume you've got a flashlight or whatever. You can check it out.
Yeah.
The windshield is smashed. There's a couple of holes torn inside of it, but structurally, I mean, it'll still drive. It's you don't see any damage to the drivetrain or anything like that.
Okay.
So it's functional. That is not what I wanted. Oh, that'll work. We'll go with that. Alright, just looking for image references. So let's see. Oh, and outside there's tons of those horsefly things. On the floor.
Right,
On the ground.
yeah.
They're dead. There are tons of dead ones on the ground and inside the crawler. Inside the land machine.
Okay. I'll get the land machine to shake itself out and clean itself up and.
I forgot. You've got your automaton. Okay, no, there aren't any inside the land machine anymore. Sorry, I completely forgot about the automaton. So there's like piles of them near the entrances of the land machine, and there's like automata who are using essentially snow shovels to like, and they're just cleaning it all out. And like as you're standing there, there's a couple of automata that have like a little window washing rig on the front windshield, and while you're standing there, they go and fire up like a arc welding torch thing, and go, and they're fixing the windshield.
Okay, that all looks good to me then.
So while he's outside working on the vehicle, I asked Vlad about the. I know we were attacked by dinosaur things, but these do not look like dinosaur things. What's going on?
It's been happening more lately. It has been happening more frequently lately, and the more bigger clouds of them. But you say you saw dinosaurs?
So why we see dinosaurs, but we see these fly things in here?
This I don't know. To me, they look like flies, big flies. Even in Romania, we don't have flies like this.
Right, they look
Maybe this big.
That's pretty big, man. Huh.
No, but nothing like this.
Yeah, they look like flies to us now, but before we came in, they looked like these nasty dinosaur.
If you say so. It would be rude to call you a liar.
Hmm.
To me, they look like flies.
Hmm. So what about when you were sweeping up, everything just disappeared like it was an eraser? What's up with that?
What, you mean when they clean up?
Yeah.
They clean up. It's not complicated.
I suppose not.
He pours another glass of wine, hands it to you.
Oh.
Oh, after dinner, you want something stronger? We have Bekarovka, if you want some.
Oh, why not now?
He takes down a bottle and pours it like a large shot glass, essentially, but it's got a stem, so it's basically like a tiny little wine glass.
Right.
And he pours a glass of that and slides it across the counter to you.
Well, I'm gonna drink with you.
No, I don't drink wine. So
Yep. I knew that was coming.
Okay.
but
What do
please,
you drink?
you enjoy. You enjoy.
No, what do you think, Mr. Vlad?
Hmm?
What do you drink, Mr. Vlad? I'm curious.
Uh, it's not worth discussing.
I
So,
mean,
have you had Bekarovka before? Because
I'm sorry?
it's a very, very secret recipe. We are lucky to have it.
I assume what you drink is not Palenka.
Sorry, what's Palenka?
It's Romanian plum brandy.
Oh, we have that if you would like some.
Duh!
He goes over to another bottle and he pours a little glass of it and he gives it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, surprised you know this. It's not many people outside of Romania know this. The Bekarovka more people know is Czech liquor. So,
I'm a sea captain. I visit many ports.
oh, well-traveled man. Man who is wise, has traveled the world and knows its ways. Anyway, the people who are, terrified and all.
Yeah, they.
So I guess
help.
Captain Harris came back in. That's just, okay? So Captain Harris comes back in.
I heard they might need a little help.
It's okay. Okay, I don't want to push this on you. I'm just going to throw this out there. Do you bring in one of the horseflies to show to your biologist or not?
Yeah.
Great idea. I thought
It just seems like something you might think of if I weren't distracting you with vampires from the future or something.
yeah, life
Time vampires from the
life
future.
stealing vampires.
So, Captain Harris gets a tea towel from the land machine, wraps up a horsefly, and brings it back in to show to Michael. Yay! And we'll just assume that.
Look, dessert.
Oh, no.
We'll just assume that.
That big in Ireland.
Tomatoes, tomatoes and cucumbers are also a big item. Sorry, I meant to mention this earlier.
Ooh.
Tomatoes and cucumbers are a big item during dinner. They're like this. The salad phase is tomatoes and cucumbers. So anyway,
In a vinegar dressing.
In a vinegar dressing. This is true.
Wow.
So Captain Harris comes back in, gets a glass of Palenka or whatever, and hands a horsefly wrapped in a towel
it's
to
a
Michael.
giant horsefly. Like about the size of a loaf of bread, huh? But it looks other than that like a horsefly.
Well, now that you're looking at it close up, in the daylight or the light of the
Right.
inn, where a fly has these two big eyes at the front, it instead has a big brain poking out the front of its body, like brain, you know. So
Brain.
where the eyes would be is actually a brain.
All right.
Okay, future
What do you
reference.
mean,
Next time we fight them, punch them in the face.
Yeah. You got us. What we got here is a mutant horsefly, or something from another planet. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
The people at the next table, they like come over and like look at the fly, and they're like, "Well, that's definitely what they look like." Well, what planet do you think this might be from?
Good question. I'm a cryptozoologist, but it's not something I've ever encountered before. I'm gonna start dissecting it.
And the woman says, my family my parents were freighter crew, and I've been from one planet to the other in this galaxy, and I've never seen anything like that.
Actually, then what's going to happen is Michael's going to just stop for a while, and he's going to try to see if Sir Arong has any memory of this creature.
Make a roll. Make a biology roll. Or something like that.
Okay, and I get to add points, right, for this?
It'll be reason plus 2d6, unless you've got like a power or something that would go into it.
No,
Or
I
a
don't have that
specialty.
extra.
Or if you have expertise, you add another die, 3 dice.
Actually, I think I'm fine with what I have, which would be.
Now, if you have
12.
expertise, you re-roll 1s and 2s.
Oh, damn it! I've
Oh,
forgotten.
right.
It's been so long since I
We're third
played.
gen,
Oh my
not
god.
second gen.
I rolled a 12.
Is that an old generation of the game?
Yeah, that's a previous version.
We're still playing second edition sometimes.
I rolled a
You got to
12.
remind Brandon.
Okay, I'm looking at Michael's character sheet. You don't have expertise in your
No,
sciences.
that's what I said. I rolled 2 die and I added 3 and I rolled a total of 12.
12. Okay, let me take a look at what I rolled against you. It's
Now I'm
difficult,
pulling the
so I'm going to
memory
make it a
of the
6.
typing.
So I
Yeah,
rolled
I'm
a 7
pulling
plus
the-
6. That is a 13. So you've never seen anything like this.
Okay. No, I don't think so. It doesn't look familiar to me. And he's sounding more like the Jedi Knight than he's sounding like Michael at this point. And then he'll go back to dissecting it like Michael.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Make another roll.
That's the next step. He's dissecting it.
You just get your steak knife and your dinner fork and just start going to town. Make another.
While watching, I'm carrying on a casual conversation with the person who said that their family was freighter. Basically, one merchant marine to another.
Yeah, she's let's say Sigourney Weaver as she exists today, right now.
Okay.
So she's, I don't know, 60s, dressed in like cowboy era clothing that's made out of high tech stuff.
Okay.
Frisch was having nasty flashbacks to high school biology class when he actually attended.
Are you just chatting with her? Is there anything particular you want to know?
Yeah, no, I just, how long's it been since I got to hang out with another merchant marine, with another person with experience of doing that?
Oh,
And whether you're doing it across the water or across the stars,
she'll
it's the same basic job.
she'll say, yeah, her family, they worked for such and such corp, and asks, what corp was your family indentured to?
Oh no, I had my own ship. Captain
You're
John
a free
Harris.
trader? How'd you end up here?
10 years on the television.
She just kind of
I
like
caught
blinks
a
at you. She
giant
doesn't even know what you're saying when you say that.
I was fishing on Earth one time.
Earth? You've been
And
to
I
Earth?
caught that's where I got my master's ticket.
Wow.
And I caught a giant kraken.
Here he goes again.
Yeah, sure. Come on.
The guy in the aluminum foil cowboy hat, he nudges her and she says, "Don't listen to him. He hasn't been to Earth. No one's been to Earth.
Oh,
Don't lie."
but
What?
I beg to differ with you, sir. I think we're all from Earth.
yes,
Born in the great state of Massachusetts.
Ireland.
Oklahoma.
San Francisco,
No.
says Wood's character, whose
Manila.
name I
No,
don't remember. John Erlang. And there's like Earth. They look at you because you all seem so completely serious. It's like, no, you're pulling our legs. There's no way.
There's
And
several people.
the
there's
woman,
the whole
Weaver,
town
we're
from
gonna
Earth.
call her. Weaver. She's like, no, I think they're being serious. I think they're from Earth. He's like,
the
how's
whole
that even
town
possible?
from Earth is.
What?
My theory is this planet seems to attract people from all over the multiverse. I'm going to presume, and not just universe.
Apparently, time has something to do with it too.
Time, play. That's why I'm saying multiverse. It's not just time. It's different universes, different dimensions, possibly
Different
even
histories.
different histories. That's, yes.
Tranquility comes from a different Earth than we do.
Yes.
They just all kind of look at each other like this is just too much to believe. Well, we are from settlement Q45, which is about 2 miles that way. And yeah, right after we got here, things took a turn for the weird. and we don't
Mhm.
really. We lost contact with everyone. We're completely off the grid now,
Yes.
and have been this way for about 6 months.
Do you mind if I ask you what century?
Well, like what the year? What century?
Yeah,
Like
what year is it?
year it is?
Yes.
4715. What century do you think it is?
2019.
What 2019? Like the
2019.
Right anyway.
That explains the Earth now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh, what time was Georgie from? The piano.
15 or something like that. Something around that, I think.
no, like
Yeah,
20,
that's
like
what I'm
25. Georgie's
Yeah.
like from 20 the 2500s.
Yeah.
2500s. Yeah.
And these guys are from like the 4500s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And
to say.
And we've met people from the 17 and 1800s.
And from 500 BC.
That's very true.
Hey, Vlad, what year are your people from?
Hard to say. Time here is not right.
Time here is
No,
very.
no. What time would it be for you?
When we left, 2186.
Hmm.
Now, who knows? I can say how many days have gone by, but what year it is? No way. Can't tell.
This
Everything's
English, right?
everything's there's a word. Warped. Everything is warped.
We might
Just
even
wait
be
until you-
outside of time.
Even
the
one day.
gravity is variable here.
You notice that? I was really surprised you noticed that. Most people is too
Yeah.
subtle.
My piano told me.
Good piano.
From probably close to your time and from the sound of things.
I said it a moment ago, and I don't even remember what year I said he was from.
I think it's at 2500. And,
Yeah.
and
The piano's 2500s.
40.
those guys were
But let's say
21
Vlad's like 2400s for
Yeah.
sake of argument.
2300, 2400, somewhere in there.
far in
yeah,
the
okay.
future for such an old-looking building.
I'm sorry, what?
That's pretty far in the future for such an old-looking building like this inn.
Oh, come on, it's retro.
Come on.
Oh.
Historical accuracy unmatched. Top quality.
Yeah.
As an archaeologist, I can concur.
Oh, thank you. I take this as great
The
compliment.
question then begs to be asked, why don't you charge local currency like you used to in wherever you came from instead of taking people's lives away?
Self-preservation.
Mm.
Not that
Yes,
3 hours is all that
I assume
much.
they
But
get the minutes.
I almost okay. Leslie, were you talking?
I said, so you're from a future time where you're a little more civilized and you're just going retro. Why aren't you charging what would be the retro money to go with the building? Why are you taking away people's minutes?
Is only realistic. Is only non-renewable resource. Fuck.
So what do you do
Is
with it?
only non-renewable resource, and
What do you
Makes sense.
and self-preservation. We don't charge. We cease. And what would you say, Donald?
Energy
I said, perhaps they live longer by our minutes.
Energy vampire.
Such a crude way of putting it, but accurate.
Everything needs fuel.
Yeah.
No, the house would go dark without energy to power. So, house
Okay.
goes dark, I go dark, everything goes dark. Besides, you are from distant past. You have hard currency, metals, paper, this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
How you get that? You work, you spend your time, you spend your life. You trade your time of your life for what you receive. We just take out middlemen. Much more efficient. You want no more drink? Here, let me pour. Ah, he. There's no one has talked to him. No one has walked up to him to tell him anything. He goes, the rooms are ready. If you want to go to bed, you can. If you want to stay up as late as you want. You want entertainment? I have someone play for you.
I need to finish what I'm doing here, because I'd like to find out what we're up against. So we
It
can
is
talk about
riddled with. Oh, you were going to make a roll. Make another biology roll, science roll.
Yeah, because I am
With reason?
dissecting.
This one's easier because you're cutting it open.
Yep. That time I rolled 13 total.
You made it by 3, so you get a eureka moment.
Mm-hmm.
It is riddled with what appears to be a parasite of some kind, and with your +3, you determine it is a fungus. The horsefly has been completely taken over by some kind of fungus, and the brain on the front is actually an exposed part of the fungus, which is actually growing over top of and into, or out of, actually it's out of, the eyes.
This is creepy.
That certainly
Way
explains
creepy. It is way creepy.
parasitism. Uh-huh.
Vlad,
As a matter of fact, with the +3, hang on, Leslie, Michael with the +3 will realize that the bites of these things are probably infectious. And had not Isco had supernatural healing ability, you would probably all right now be incubating this fungus parasite. And who knows how long it would be before you would grow fungus brains on the outside of your skulls and then go forward and try to spread it.
There was an X-Files episode like this. Yeah.
Was there? Well, I'm not surprised. The show was on for like 10 years. So.
Yeah.
Vlad,
You mentioned
I
any
have
of
an
these?
unusual request for you.
I think we need to get up a fungicide is what we need.
I would like 2 gallons of vinegar.
That'll do it too. Or Clorox bleach.
Vinegar.
Vinegar's usually easier to get than bleach.
Yeah.
Especially in a medieval tavern from the future.
Actually, well, if from the future, bleach is probably a better.
Much better product, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd ask for hydrogen peroxide if I think that stood a good chance of it.
I know bleach or vinegar is probably better.
Bleach is better.
Mm-hmm.
You take vote. You choose bleach.
Bleach.
Donald, remember the Stacky Botters takeover in my house in Richmond? He bleached the crap out of everything. Bleach.
Isco's just shaking his head, and these guys, talking shop when they could just be relaxing. They said, "But you're welcome."
If Isco seems distracted and not focused on their conversation, almost preternaturally, the attractive young woman will come out and sit next to him and start asking him about himself.
Oh, okay.
Like, so, where are you from? Have you come from far away? Oh, that's interesting. What is it like there? How fascinating. So she's extremely interested in anything Isco has to say. And is really good at asking questions about it.
Talked for a long time though. Yeah.
There you go.
One time when I was in prison.
Oh, that must have been very frightening. How did you end up there? Meanwhile, Val's like, so 2 gallons bleach. Gallons. And he just like looks at you for a minute. He's like, gallons. Not a problem. 2 gallons. He
I think we have our way out.
He looks over at the doorway to the kitchen, you assume, because that's where they bring the food out from. And a moment later, Mikhail comes out with 2 earthenware jugs and sets them on the counter. And he says, "Thank you, Mikhail." And Mikhail says, "De nada," or whatever you say in Russian. And then goes back into the bag. He's like, 2 gallons of bleach.
Okay. I've got
Probably ask for a bucket.
sprayer in the truck.
I think a bucket would be better.
I'm sure I have one of those in the truck too.
Okay, a bucket and a spray. The spray is for later.
Weaver, the lady who's with the trio of people who came in, she's like, "Excuse me, what? I'm almost afraid to ask, but what are you people doing? Why are you getting ancient
we're dealing,
bottles of bleach?
we're dealing with a fungus here. Fungus is any living thing is susceptible to bleach, and bleach is the best way to take care of fungus. One of the best ways.
Yes. It's a test. We want to see if we can kill it.
Yeah.
I
Did
don't
you
think
miss
you
the
know
point
what
where
you're
we're-
dealing with. You're dealing with. There were probably 30 or 40 of these things chasing us here.
Spray
What are you gonna do? Like
bottle!
splash it on them?
Spray
Yes.
bottles.
Spray bottle.
This is
Did,
the
did you
fungus
did you
attack.
miss the point where we mentioned that we were cryptozoologists?
This is a test to see what happens when we apply bleach. Then we'll get a bunch of spray bottles and bleach the hell out of everything if we have to. Just to see what happens. And
Too bad we don't have super soakers.
I wonder if we got a
yeah,
lot
that'd
of
be awesome.
kill it.
It's unfortunate we don't have super soakers. That'd work better.
Well, we know what's causing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's get like a couple of goat bladders and some hose, and there you go, super soakers.
Works.
I hate super soakers with corrosive substances. It really is not a safe toy. With at least
You know, is that machine out front? Is that yours? The antique?
Yeah.
If you people have weapons from your era and you think you can fight this, we know exactly where it's coming from. The men are like, yeah, we know who's doing this. Can you just go deal with it? Because
The
we
hag?
would, except they outnumber us like 10-1.
The
And
hag and her ghost warriors.
no, the orcs.
the orcs.
Oh.
Hmm.
Something other than a rude little girl.
They just kind of look at
That'll-
you like you're crazy. But then again, they've been
that'll be a
looking at you
change.
like that a lot. So
That'll be a change of pace.
Orcs like from that movie with the little guys. Yeah.
Right. Corrupt elves.
Okay.
elves.
Orcs were once elves.
At least that's in.
Yeah, but
In Tolkien.
this was totally not.
Yeah.
No idea these references.
They're just looking at you blankly. It's like you'll be talking for a while, and they can kind of understand what you're saying, and then suddenly you're like potato turntable leftovers, and you're like, what? Oh yeah, end table sunshine leftover Sunday. It's like they understand the individual words you're saying, but what you're saying doesn't make sense to them.
Yeah.
And like, but okay, but about the orcs.
Okay.
We know they're the ones that are doing it because they've been killing our livestock. Because when we first came here, when we first landed here for the settlement, we sent out, scouting groups to try to just get the lay of the land and know where we were, and we ran into them, and of course retreated because they are notoriously violent. They just notoriously. So. I mean, right? Wait, did they? No, they don't know. They don't know what we're talking about. They didn't even have space flight back in the 30th century, wherever they're from.
So
Yeah, we did. We went to the moon.
did the great storm happen after you landed?
Well, we've seen several storms since we got here. What do you mean?
A really torrential.
The really weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
Well, when the colony ship landed was probably the worst storm we've seen. Well, yeah, I think that was, I've never seen, that was just crazy.
Ah, okay. I think I see what happened now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the storm that seems to bring us all here.
Oh,
Yes, you landed in the middle of a change storm. Good grief. Are you telling me after all these years people still haven't learned to wait for fair weather before landing?
The guy who's not wearing the cowboy hat made out of aluminum foil says, "No. he channels Donald for a minute. He goes, no, 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 no. We checked. Everything was clear. The atmosphere was clear. All the climatological data was clear. It was completely safe. That storm came out of nowhere. I keep telling people this. There was no way to predict that. It is not my fault. It's not my fault.
No, actually, it wasn't your fault. That storm was not on that planet that you are no longer on.
Yes, that was a dimensional storm.
Yeah,
Brought you
dimensional
here.
storms appear out of nowhere, and apparently, that's how we all end up here.
Guy in
At least that's the going theory.
It's how the Aztecs ended up here. It's how the Japanese ended up here. It's how the Chinese ended up here. I assume it's how the pirates and the aliens ended up here too.
Probably.
the guy who's literally wearing the tinfoil hat, which just occurred to me. That there's literally a guy in a tinfoil hat.
I've been thinking about that for a while.
He says, that's ridiculous.
Not as ridiculous as
So you're saying there was some kind of interdimensional storm, and we're not on the planet we landed on. We're on some other planet where, what did you say? Pirates and Aztecs and what?
No. I think you misunderstood me. You are not on the planet that you attempted to land on. You were sent through a dimensional rift to this piece of land that I'm not quite willing to call a planet yet.
No, me
Yeah,
neither.
that's a good way of putting it.
It seems like an island in between time, almost,
And realities.
and realities. Yeah. That certainly explains why we it keeps getting all the flotsam of the universes.
I wouldn't call us flotsam. We just happen
I
to be.
would.
Yeah, flotsam. That seems kind of.
Yeah, no, we are totally flotsam. We are totally flotsam. Sorry, Michael.
The way we landed here, I definitely would count us as flotsam.
All right.
Okay, Weaver says, okay, wait, hang on. Let's to use this saying from our time. Let's put a pin in that, which means to
Mark it for later.
set it aside and discuss it later. Sorry.
Yeah.
What we have right now is a problem that is literally killing our livestock and causing problems, and very nearly. If this place weren't here, it would have. I'm sure they would have killed us. So,
So
yeah.
what we need to do is we need to get weapons put together that can spray the bleach in as wide a
Well,
pattern as
people from your era are. I mean, don't take offense, but I mean, old Earth. It's basically a war planet, right? I mean, that's what we all grew up hearing.
Unfortunately, yes.
You were there.
So
you and your machine, you could probably take on these orcs with no problem, right?
we have to get by the fungal bugs first. That's what we
Well,
need
if you take
to,
out the orcs, then they're the ones sending the. Well, now they look like horseflies, but sometimes they're spiders, sometimes they're bears or wolves, or sometimes
Yes, or
they're
whatever the fun.
whatever.
sometimes they're
Whatever something
pherezids,
that-
sometimes they're atkazins. She starts naming some things
you've
you've never heard of.
Contaminated by the fungus.
Oh, so yeah. So basically, it's whatever the fungus infects,
Yeah. So I'm guessing the orcs are infected as well.
and we have to stop the infection somehow, or it will not end.
What makes them look different? Like different things, not the flies. I don't understand that.
It's a fungus that's attacking different things.
Yeah, no, but why did it look like Utah raptors to us? I assume there is some form of psychotropic involved.
Yeah, that's
Probably
what I've been
funguses
thinking.
are known for that.
Or holograms.
No,
I'm
more
going
than,
with
likely,
psychotropic.
more than likely it's a psychotropic.
Wait, is that like a drug?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
With the mold or the fungus, it's a toxin.
Yeah.
huh.
Huh.
So it sounds like at the very least these orcs need to have a talking to about their manners.
And
They
then we
need to
probably,
be decontaminated.
yeah, we probably do need to do a general decontamination of the area, possibly.
Okay,
Yes.
After,
we don't have any weapons. So
I'm sorry,
would you?
we weren't
I don't.
including you unless you were desiring. If you don't have
Um,
weapons, we don't need to include you if you don't want to.
well,
We
no, that's
understand.
not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is if you don't mind, if you're willing to help us with this, we can pay you whatever we have. Uh, we don't have a
Well,
lot, but whatever we have, if
this
we can
problem
spare
is
it,
a
it's
problem for all
yours.
of us.
Hmm?
This,
So the problem is a problem for all of us. Until we get rid of the fungus, none of us are going anywhere. So don't, I won't take pay. This is just simply,
So yeah, let's
yeah.
go talk to
Yeah.
these orcs and sort this problem out and worry about pay later.
yeah. Worst case
Captain, I
scenario,
don't
pay
think talking to them is a good idea. We need to decontaminate the area.
How about it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I use the word talk as a euphemism.
Uh,
Yes, but we need to talk.
Weaver
So,
looks over at Vlad behind the counter. And she's like, "Is it possible for us to stay the night until the morning? Well, would you be willing to
it's really easy
go with us
for us
back
to
to our
stay.
village in the morning, our settlement?"
Yes.
Yeah, whatever you want tomorrow.
It'd probably be easier.
I let them know it'll cost you 2 hours.
Oh, for crying out loud.
They're
Don't
like,
start
"What?"
that.
And he's like,
Don't.
"Oh, you." And Vlad basically tells them the same thing he told you. It's like, "Oh, you're very welcome to stay. Food, drink, companionship, bed for the night. It's all yours. Price is very reasonable. Sign the book." And they're like, "Well, what? We don't really have anything to pay." And he's like, "No, no, no. You do. You do. You have more than you know." So, and he gives them the prices, and then they go through the same thing you did. They don't know what he means. And
I'm paying really close attention to the quill this time.
okay, um, and they're like, "What, minutes? Like from our life?" And he's like, "No, no, no." And one guy says to the other guy, "It's like the so and so corporate hegemony, something, something. They have the same thing." And they're like, "Okay, well that's minute. I don't know what. So like 137 for meals and a bedroom for the night. Minute. Oh no, I guess that's no, that sounds good. All right." And one of them picks up a quill. And Donald, the moment they touch the quill, data starts going from the quill out. Uh, and there's the occasional ping back, but most of the data is from the quill out.
Okay.
And they sign, and then the next person signs. They don't. It takes them a minute to realize what they're expected to do because apparently writing things with a pen has gone out of style. But they're like familiar with it in like a general sense, in the same way that you and I are familiar with a phone on a wall that you pick it up and crank the handle. Like they've seen it in movies, maybe. So I do this, and then like I draw what my name is. Okay, all right, and so anyway. So
I'm guessing it's operating like a tricorder. It's probably telling a database just how many minutes we all have to live.
that's a good theory.
Yeah, some kind of temporal scanner.
Yeah, it's giving an idea of our medical health. Probably.
They get dinner, they get drinks, they get whatever they want. Then they get a room. You guys get a room. Do you do anything between now and the morning?
I'm curious about Vlad, so I am going to walk up to him and say, "Have you ever thought of trying to get energy from those buggers outside? Or they don't have the right kind of energy?" This is curiosity, nothing more.
There's a word, very important word. Consent. Without consent, there is nothing. There is no contract.
All right, and since intelligent creatures are the only ones that can give consent, that I understand.
Vlad's not a machine, is he?
No.
All right, wait. How are you asking me that?
Ooh.
With powers?
All right, make a reason plus power perception roll.
I'd be curious to know that myself.
And he's very, very complicated, so I'm making it hard. However, I rolled really, really badly, so the total is 10. Do you get more than 10?
I rolled a 10 on the dice, plus my 3, plus my power level of 4, plus
Oh,
yeah.
so you get two whole levels of margin of success because you got 13 and 16.
Yes, I finally stopped rolling 4s.
All right, you like just focus really intently and listen to the language of the machines, right? Vlad is a cloud of nanomachines. The companions are clouds of nanomachines. The food is real food. The drink is real drink.
Oh, I get it now.
That's how since they're machines, they need the energy, the electromagnetic or whatever makes us l- living things. It's what is their fuel. It's their electricity, whatever.
Oh, I haven't determined that yet, but that totally explains how the autocannons came out of the ceiling like that.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Okay.
And the brooms are decomposing things into particles, or
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Craig?
and the brooms then are like destroying whatever it is into nanoparticles.
Well, if
Not Cisco saying
you could ask Captain Harrows about it later, but essentially, yeah, the brooms are physical objects. They are actual physical objects. But when they're sweeping across the what's left over of the dead bugs, it's disintegrating them and turning them into component particles that are getting sucked up and then into the house, essentially.
I will ask Vlad
Ah,
without knowing that he's a machine, since I don't have this power. Are there a lot of beings like you in the future, or are there humans like us, or what is the future made out of, or your future?
Oh, you say future, but for me, you mean the past.
You're our future, yes.
The
Your
time,
world is our
the
future.
time and place at which life was normal. Um, some places like this, it was fad for a while. Uh,
Hmm.
Particular time, place presented in a way that is easy to digest and enjoy. That's what this is. So,
So, but you had human beings that would show
oh
up
yeah,
at
yeah.
your inn in time.
Oh,
All
people,
right.
humans, yeah, sure, sure.
And
Customers, patrons,
your race of
guests
beings
of
was
the
just
house.
confined to the inn.
Hmm?
Is your race of beings just confined to the inn, or were there others like you? He's
Difficult
calling him a
question.
race because he doesn't know he's a machine.
See, I tell you a secret. He like looks either way. And the house, me, Mikhail, Koli, and he names a couple of the other people wandering around. Me, we are the house. The house is us. He's all one thing.
Ah,
in that case, you should be very careful. Your brooms may have collected up some of the
fungus.
parasitic fungus.
Oh,
You might want to keep that separate from any biologicals that you might have.
don't worry. It's all reduced to well, if you there's a saying.
Components.
There's a saying in Romania. I'll translate it for you. Sometimes it's better not to know how the sausage is made. So, but
Probably
just
not.
be assured, be comforted. You are in no danger. You are safe. No
Oh
disease.
no, I just did not want you to be getting diseased.
No,
I
no,
don't.
we're fine.
If what he says is true, they may be immune to it.
No, yeah, I assume they've got like a fusion forge or something that they use this stuff to power. So
Sure.
This is
Think that if you
fascinating.
like. But
You know,
you,
the nanoparticles are very the nanoparticles are very fascinating. By the way, Vlad. And I knock on the bar.
The bar's actually solid.
Mhm.
It's an actual bar.
Oh, that. Oh, I thought the house was made of nano stuff too.
No.
Oh, okay.
Although there are like pockets of it here and there that do things, but in general, it's a physical structure. But
You know,
Yeah, no, I'll tap one of the pieces of nano and say, although that is a very nice trick.
yeah, it's just extremely high tech. So anyway, anything else
it's
going on?
sad that we're seeing all this. We're all seeing all this cryptozoology, and we can't go home and talk about it.
Well, it's not like
Well,
anybody's-
we can talk about it, we just can't go home.
Speaking of talking about it,
Well, I'm going to continue trying.
Weaver and the two guys, they will ask you all kinds of questions about what they continue to refer to as Old Earth. They don't just say Earth; they say Old Earth. So, like,
doesn't bother us.
is it true that there was like a secondary planet that was lifeless?
Yeah,
Things
that's
like
the moon
that.
I was talking about, man.
Yeah, do you mean the moon or Mars?
Or even Venus, for that matter.
Oh, you mean the one that orbited around the old Earth?
That one, yes.
The moon.
That it was a double planet system.
Yeah.
Uh,
we call it
uh,
the moon.
A tidally locked satellite, yes.
Yeah, totally like
It-
rock really.
It helps a lot with the plate tectonics,
And also
which I understand are required for
the
intelligent
weather,
life.
the tides.
And like half the planet was water. It was literally everywhere.
More than half.
More like 2/3. None of it drinkable.
No, and one of the guys says, "See, he's making this up. They're making this up. There's no way that would be true. A planet is 2/3 water, half water. I don't even buy that. But 2/3?
How do you think
Oh, one
I
at
got my-
9/10
how do
water.
you-
One at a water world with little islands on it. I mean, come on.
How do you think I got my master's ticket? It was sailing by the winds on the water.
Pull
Guy
out
in
a pad of
tinfoil.
paper, 'cause
Guy in the
Oh,
aluminum
I-
cowboy hat is extremely skeptical.
Wait a minute. We have a cameraman here somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. We've got footage, don't
We
we?
have footage.
yeah.
You like pull out a tablet and look here, boop, 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 boop. Here's the season finale of last year's show. You were going after the Loch Ness monster.
So whenever
Here
we're
you go.
talking all this water, Cisco goes Iskolander a bit. It kind of shivers. Oh, that water, no.
Yeah,
Please,
like
no.
fire elemental.
No. Stop talking about that, please.
Right.
Michael will probably, if we found ways to power our phones for a while, Michael will probably take out his and start showing pictures of Ireland and a couple of the shores and yeah, that's where I come from right there.
The trio from the settlement. The name of the settlement is Northwoods Rest. Just so you know. But most of the time when they're talking to you about it, they refer to it as a settlement because you don't know what the fuck Northwoods Rest is. Because Captain Northwood was the one who led their expedition, their settlement here, or to wherever they meant to go, which apparently wasn't here, which they're still struggling to get a handle on that. But they're looking at your pictures and they're just aghast. Everything is so green, and there's like so much water. And they're like, oh, that can't be real. That's simulated. Tinfoil hat guy. That's simulated. That's not real. There's no way.
It's quite real.
They're showing you a sim, and you guys are lapping it up. And the other two are like, no. Look at that. That's real.
Home.
That's not a sim. That's real. And he's like, sure it is. Anyway, a brief break. It's 9:20. Let's take a break till 9:25. I'm gonna take care of some personal business and refill my glass. Okay?
Yes.
We cool? Okay. And which one is button on the left? Just so we're all clear. Button on the left is to start again. And we're back. Tonight's episode of Pirates of the Mesozoic is brought to you by Evan Williams Honey Whiskey, The smoothness of Evan Williams with a sweet honey taste. Perfect as a chilled shot on the rocks or mixed. EvanWilliamsHoney.com. Pay me. Pay me. Please, pay me to do this. I would love that. Someone out there, pay me to do this.
It's actually pretty good stuff. I like sours made with that.
Or just give me liquor. That'd be nice too. I'm actually mixing it with jasmine tea, which is pretty good.
Ooh, that would be good.
That does sound good.
I like it with a margarita mix.
Interesting. All right, so where were we?
About to go kick some more butt, apparently.
Okay, so eventually you guys wind down. Everybody goes to their respective rooms. They are rustic but comfortable. The windows do not have glass in them, and yet there's no chilly draft, and the temperature is extremely comfortable. Like, if you want it to be warmer or cooler, you can tell someone that you do. Oh, wait, no. Each room has a fireplace. And there's like a thing next to you can like poke the fire. And as you poke the fire, you poke it on one side and the fire goes down, and you poke it on the other side and the fire goes up. So it's not really a fire.
But it keeps the room warm.
But it's like a symbol for the temperature in the room. It looks like a fire. And if you put your hands up within like, a foot away, you can feel heat like it's a fire. But the rest of the room, it gets cooler, it gets warmer. Anyway, science. Morning comes, yay! People come down to breakfast or don't. Isco, who had a companion for the evening, when you wake up, she's gone. But you come down for breakfast, and there is sausages and hard-boiled eggs and various other types of breakfast foods.
Yeah, by the way, Brandon, I found the photo for you.
What's that? I was actually thinking a little bit more rustic than that. Like the walls are actually wood, like paneling sort of, but not paneling, actual boards.
Like the around the window in that picture.
Kind of, yeah, but the whole room would be like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But yeah, very very much like that. It's very. It looks authentically whatever it is. Like the headboard is like that. The headboards are like intricately painted in patterns that are, what do they call that? Folk art, like that.
Yeah, this is the little Hungarian place I stayed at, and the night before we went back to Budapest.
There you go. Well,
So,
wind
this
that
is
back
what a
about
Chardash would look like.
wind that back about 300 years, and that's pretty much what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, I will note that this is 2012, and take a look at the TV.
I think I used to have that TV.
I know. That looked very much like the TV I had.
Of course, it was the 1980s at the time, but still. All right. Anyway, everybody eats, you drink, you have, the other people, the three people from the settlement, Northwoods, rest. They come downstairs. They are extremely suspicious of the food because it doesn't look like anything they recognize as food. But they see you eating it, so they're like they look at you and they're like, oh. And they say, oh, this is kind of like and they name something you don't recognize. And they're like, what, really? And they go, oh, what? It kind of is. Doesn't look anything like it, but yeah, okay. And they start eating. So.
And I'm like, yum, cow flesh.
Yeah. Oh, that was some pig flesh.
Ooh, pig flesh is even better.
So, they are not vegetarians. They have animals at the settlement. And that's actually, in the conversations over the course of the morning, one of the problems is there have been... What?
They're getting the livestock attacked by the orcs.
Yeah, the orcs have been attacking their livestock and killing all of it, eating some of it, which is weird. But they leave tons of it behind, but they take a lot of it.
Well, that's rude. They need to be given a talking to.
I'm beginning to wonder, though.
Well, anyway, they eat their thing. They're ready for you to. They're kind of waiting on you at that point.
Okay, we're ready to go when you are.
By this time, Hera's automata have completely repaired the machine, the crawler. So, and you walk out the door, and they are in a row, sorted from tallest to shortest, facing the door. And as soon as Captain Harrows walks out, they all go shink, and they like stand at like little robot attention. Like the shortest is about 18 inches tall, and the tallest is about 30 inches tall.
I pet one that has a "You're adorable."
They are, aren't they?
So cute, so pointy, so
I'm
vicious.
proud of my crew.
The three people with you, the settlers, are horrified. They're like, "Oh my God, you've got AIs!"
No, just automata.
They're like, They're like, they're shocked and stunned.
They're solid state. Trust me, I built them out of old VCRs.
So,
what's wrong with AIs? I don't understand.
I'm pretty. I was presuming that eventually that AI would attack humans at some point.
Yeah, I was saving the question of when the robot uprising comes for the drive over to the settlement.
Oh, like in that movie Alien. Oh yeah.
you can have this conversation on the. It's only a couple of miles. It's only a couple of miles to the settlement. But very briefly, you have a brief conversation in the 5 minutes it takes to get to their settlement. That short version is, oh yeah, totally. The AIs uprose and tried to exterminate humanity, and now it is penalty of death to activate an AI. It's just, you just don't do that. They still exist out there in space somewhere, but they apparently don't know
some
where.
of them are my friends.
Oh, or what that other movie? The shiny metal robots, and then they'll never look like humans.
Terminator?
Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, the Terminator.
Battlestar Galactica.
Metropolis?
Battlestar Galactica.
There you go, Battlestar Galactica. That's actually pretty close to what they described to you. That there was a big war between the AIs and the human race, and the human race just barely managed to defeat them, but not exterminate them. They do still exist out there. So.
Okay.
Yes, and I've got a few as friends.
No, you don't.
I think his are something slightly different too.
Or
No, my crew is not AI. I'm just thinking about all the other things that I've said.
Let's see what we got.
Georgie's definitely an AI.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So maybe we don't give him access to all the autocannons.
And we don't want them anywhere.
Well,
near
it depends. If the robot uprising was in like 35 something, then yeah, we've got a whole millennia to work on. Georgie will be fine.
Georgie's harmless.
If the robot uprising was like 4 years after Georgie was made, well, we might have some problems.
Georgie, for what it's worth, appears to like people and want to play the piano for people. Those
yes,
and you've not, even though the people of Tranquility have reacted negatively to him once he started actually, I mean, before you guys showed up. Like they stopped playing him, they thought he was haunted, etc. You've detected no sense of resentment at all. It's like he's disappointed that they didn't play him, and that now he can play for them again. He's happy, so his resentment doesn't even fall into it. He's not gonna go on a musical rampage or anything.
Are people starting to play him now?
More than they were, yeah.
Okay.
They said the same thing about the Cylons.
Okay, so everybody piles into the crawler, and you head toward the settlement. So let's show you where that is. Okay, this map is upside down. Just so you know. Actually, it's more like it's rotated 90 degrees. North is actually to the right. Wait,
Okay.
actually, that's not right either. Hang on.
But North is weird on this planet anyway. Or
It's true.
this piece of
Let's
land.
put it this way. Relative to this map, the haunted forest is down. So you took the land machine horizontally to the right on this map until you reached the river. And then you went up on this map until you reached these three little houses at the bottom. These right here. Can you see my pointer?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the inn? Where exactly is the inn?
Down and to the left.
Okay.
On the border of the haunted forest.
Okay.
Night, Sebastian. Vixen's already asleep.
Yeah, close it, please. All right. Yeah. This forest is not the haunted forest. There's actually like a valley of plains, like grasslands, in between this forest and the haunted forest. Haunted forest is down on this picture, and the House of the Dragon, the inn you stayed at last night, is on the edges of the haunted forest.
Okay.
So, hopefully that's clear. So, you get to like here. That is Northwood's Rest, or the settlement. The way the village looks, the town looks, it's made out of hemispherical metal shells and metal boxes and stacks of metal boxes.
Like a planetary colonization would look.
Yeah, it's container farm.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah. It's pieces of their landing craft and cargo containers made into a settlement. Well, you get there. People are afraid. I guess that's the best word to put it. You can see people outside, and then as you approach and they see the machine approaching, they all pick up their children and run into buildings. So, yay. Warm welcome.
Can't really complain about that. I mean, honestly, if I had no better idea and I was used to orcs and saw this thing rolling up, yeah, I'd be watching from the other side of something too.
Mm-hmm.
However, they have no weapons, so they can't shoot at you. So,
Hey, that's all I care about at this point.
Bonus.
Weaver and the two guys, they climb down, and after they climb out and say, come out, it's okay, they're here to help. You know, a couple of doors open up, and it's weirdly kind of like the Wizard of Oz when Dorothy comes out of her house and Glinda says, come out, and all the little munchkins come out. It's like that, except they're full-size people.
If anybody starts singing the song, I will kick them.
If I had thought ahead, I might have had some way of you landing on a witch. But anyway, so they come out, and Weaver talks to them. And they're like, "We thought,
brilliant idea!
What's your brilliant idea?
If the hag causes too much trouble, we drop a house on her. Why didn't?
Perfect. I love it. Let's.
You've figured out her weakness. She's vulnerable to having houses dropped on her. So
If that doesn't work, we'll throw water on her.
worth a try.
That might work.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have an easy backup,
Tell me
right?
what it is.
Maybe bleach might work too.
Especially if you put bleach.
Everyone
Oh yeah,
is just amazed
you
to
dump a
see.
55-gallon drum of bleach on someone. Doesn't matter if they're a witch or not. That's gonna hurt.
It'll sting. So everybody is amazed that Weaver and Joe and Blow are still alive. They thought they were dead because they had been working out in the field with some other people when that uh, flock of spiders had come after them, and when they counted heads afterward, they realized that those three people were missing. So they figured that the spiders had killed them, and are very happy to have them alive, and are grateful to you guys for apparently rescuing them, which is kind of how the story gets mutated into. And a couple of particularly tinfoil hat guy, he's like, no, they didn't rescue us; they just gave us a ride. But that story is lost in the general, yay, you rescued them. So they'll figure it all out later. But for now, they're just, hey, you're the saviors of these three people. So, and she points out a couple of people and says, you and you, tell them everything you know about the attacks from the orcs. And one guy's like, oh, all of my sheep were killed. All the ones that were outside. I mean, I still have a few that were inside, and they were safe. But 9/10 of all of my sheep are dead. They killed them. And another person says, yeah, and my verbithers. All of my verbithers. They're all slashed to ribbons. Half of them are eaten. A third of them were just carried away, as far as I can tell, and they just left the rest dead to rot. And another guy says, yeah, and my horses. I only had a few of them outside, but they're all dead, the ones that were outside. They're just slashed, bled dry, and it's just horrible. So you have several people talking about that. And then one guy, it's like, and you, McGregor. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, you're the most recent one. Night before last. He's like, yep, night before last. I had 8 head of, and he names a particular species of cow. And I had 24 head of, and he named something else. And I had 16 head of something else. He's like, every last one, all dead. Inside, outside, in the barn. And my prize verbither also just slashed, eaten, chewed apart. Barely more left than bones.
Verbither. That's that word. There's that word again. What's a verbither, sir?
They just look at you like you're stupid. Verbither? What do you mean? It's a verbither.
Yeah, let's see, investigation, that's Anna, right?
I luckily saw one.
Yeah, okay, so I think we should get Anna to go and look at these things, see what kind of stuff, whether this was machine, man, animal,
Fungus.
all three.
Fungus.
Yes. Do we still have evidence of, or do we? Sorry. Do we still have to see any of the animals left that were destroyed? I would like to also see any of the scenes of where they were, any of the locations as well.
And somebody said bled dry. What?
Well, the most recent ones are McGregor's, so that'd probably be the place to look.
All right.
Also, he had the biggest amount of livestock, and also his were the first ones that they killed the animals inside the barn as well as the ones outside.
Yes, escalation.
So maybe if you want to go there.
Oh,
And they're
Yeah,
like,
check.
McGregor, do you
check
mind
out-
if they go look? And he's like, they can't do any harm. They're all dead.
It would
So,
help us
sure.
learn what kind of weapons we're dealing with.
Teeth and claws. Orcish teeth and claws. And when he says that, 80 other people, because there's probably like a good 80 to 100 people here. They're like, yeah, orcs. Oh, those damn orcs. It's their fault. Kill them.
And you sure they're orcs and not like undead death knights or something?
What?
Have you guys come across the ghost knights?
Weaver says no. They talk like this. They talk like this all the time.
So you guys have not been attacked by the undead yet.
No.
Okay, prepare for it.
What are they talking about? I don't. Just nod. Just nod. They don't.
They live just the other side of the forest.
It
We're
might be regional.
going to have a talk because last time they were very impolite, and so I need to have a talk with their mistress about being a good neighbor.
It might be regional enough that it won't affect them yet.
What I want to know is why if you guys go to another planet, do you expect to be, no weapons? Do you expect to be invited there? What? Why no weapons?
Well, somebody in the crowd says, "Well, this planet was supposed to be uninhabited.
The
It had
one
been
you landed on
surveyed.
was,
It's
yes,
supposed to be an
yes.
uninhabited planet. There's not supposed to be anything on this planet higher than a Pharazid."
So you don't. Never mind.
They were presuming that they were landed on an uninhabited planet.
They were presuming that the map was the terrain.
Still, no way to defend yourself. That's not silly.
Agreed, but they were presuming the map was the terrain.
Okay.
Anyways,
let's go look. Let's go start the investigation, please.
do you take the crawler or do you walk? Just curious.
Oh hell, I can run there faster than anybody else.
Yeah. She'd be like, zip, zip. Okay, here's what I'm.
Like
But do you really want to go off on your own, though?
No, I would like more. I would like to also not be. Yeah, I would like at least the person who owns the place, to be there, so I can ask questions and they can feel comfortable with my presence, being at least as much comfortable as possible, considering they think we're all freaks, anyways.
Well, there is actually a road from here to there.
I think we're freaks. I think they're pretty sure of it.
Liars.
I'm pretty sure of it too, but that's quite all right.
Question is, do you go there as a group or do you go there as fast as you individually can?
We do not split the party.
As a group, yes, we do not split the
All right.
party.
You pile into the crawler. Weaver will come with you because you kind of get the impression that people are looking at her like she's in charge. She didn't introduce herself as like Mayor Weaver or anything like that. She just said, I'm Weaver. But
unofficial leader.
Yep.
And but she piled. Now actually she's got stuff to do. She's been gone for like a day. She's got stuff to do. She doesn't go with you. So this fella, McGregor, goes with you. The guy whose place it actually is.
She might have been the co-captain, and the captain's dead, so it might. She might.
Yeah, she might have been the first mate or
the first mate. Yeah.
These three little buildings here, that's the settlement. And if you go down what is clearly a road, it's not paved. It's more like packed clay.
Okay.
It's like hard clay, but it's clearly artificial, and it's clearly a road. But it's clay. And this one right over here to the left of it on your screen at the bottom, it's your left as well, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah.
On your, okay. I didn't know if you guys are reversed from me. That is
the compass rose is on the left. Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. That's McGregor's farm right here, the one with the little red dots coming off of it. It is more elaborate than most of the buildings in the settlement. McGregor apparently had some money or resources or something.
Well, yeah, that number of cattle he counted off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, well, he doesn't. They're dead now. So
Yeah.
Good. All the luck that did him. But his house looks more like a house and less like a cargo container. And his barn looks like it was built to be a barn it's like an IKEA barn. Like picture if IKEA made a barn, but it's made of metal. That's what it looks like.
Okay, flat pack barn.
Yeah, it's not a cargo container. It's something he brought with him and then built. And then there's some fields, and there's a couple of actually half a dozen young men and women. Well, I say young, ranging from mid-teens to early 30s. who are dragging dead animals into a pile. They have a pile of dead animals, but there are still a dozen or more dead animals that they have yet to drag to the pile. So they're still working on it. You guys crawl up, and when you do arrive in your thing, as soon as they notice you, they all run into the house and slam the door. Because you are scary. Oh, that's something else. You have not seen any vehicles at all. No vehicles.
So what? I should be playing Ride of the Valkyries over the
Dun
PA
dun
or
dun
something?
dun 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 dun. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how much of old Earth music they still have in their history books.
Technological trivia. You see a good 24 between this place and the settlement. There's been at least 24 windmills, several solar farms that you see.
Mm-hmm.
You've not seen a single vehicle. You've not seen a single weapon. There at the settlement, there was a great big satellite dish thing. I say great big, maybe like 9 feet, like 3 meters across, aimed kind of generally up, but it also has like leaves sitting in it and tumbleweeds up against it, so it's not been used lately.
Probably because they gave up trying to reach their people.
That's a reasonable conclusion.
Because we're not in that universe anymore.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. So you pull up the McGregor offspring, all run inside. He climbs down. He says, "Come out! Come out! Come on! Come out!" And the door opens and people come out and they're like, "Oh, Olaf! Olaf!" Wait, that's McGregor's like Scottish. Olaf is
Olaf McGregor works.
Is Olaf McGregor?
There was a whole lot of intermarrying through the generations.
There you go. Olaf,
going
you're
back
back.
thousands
And
of years.
a woman in her mid-50s runs up and hugs him, and the kids all come up and are like touching your crawler, touching the machine. And you're like, "Oh, wow, who are you people? Are you from the other settlements?" So there's a lot of that. Oh, you got to let that at the first settlement, too. People who asked if you were from the previous settlements. Have they finally made contact with the previous settlements? And not so much, no.
I tell them we're from Tranquility.
Ping, they don't know what that is.
Which is a human settlement. It is, a day's travel over.
They'll deal with that later. Weaver says,
Yeah.
Let's deal with that later. Right now, we need to deal with this problem. So, McGregor, after a brief, these people are fine. I came with them. They're going to look into this and hopefully deal with these orcs. And they're like, "Oh, thank you so much." Points to the animals. He says, "Do what you want with them. I wouldn't trust the meat to eat it, and it has no use to me. So you are welcome to any of this you see."
I'm simply doing an investigation. You're still going to have to. I would definitely recommend destroying these anyways.
Make some rolls. Actually, just one. Some kind of sciencey roll.
Actually, I'm going to want to check to see if any of them are contaminated with the fungus.
Well, I have expertise in investigation and science.
Mm-hmm.
Just make one roll in whatever you've got expertise in. And Michael, also make one roll. And I will roll against each of you individually. The first one's Dr. Anna, and that is a 10. You need to beat a 10. The second one is Michael, and you need to beat a 9.
Oh, well, then I wasted the boxcars.
What, 12 and 15?
Yep. Well, that's 12 plus the 3 for my reason.
Yeah.
That's 15.
I rolled a 12 total.
Your total is 12?
Total is 12.
Okay, so investigation is just a normal success. However, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Am I correct, Leslie?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. So, let me think. Okay, Dr. Anna, with a successful investigation roll, determines that all of these animals were killed by the same creatures who attacked you. You can tell that from the injuries. They are the same injuries that you guys have. Of course, they're much, much worse because they're just animals. They weren't fighting back, and they got killed by them.
And we got healed.
But I meant before that. I meant for that.
But this was definitely neither orcs nor a clutter of spiders.
It is definitely the mouth parts of the gigantic horseflies cause these injuries. That is
Yeah. Orcs aren't your
unequivocal.
problem, my friend.
And no, the orcs sent these.
Well, needless to say, are the animals contaminated with the fungus?
Michael, on looking at them, finds that yes, literally every animal carcass here is being eaten up with this fungus. Now the animals are dead, so eventually the fungus that's taking over their body will also die. It appears to not. It'll live until it exhausts the food supply
Now-
of the corpse, in which case it'll just fall over.
Is anybody who's touched the animals going to be contaminated? Do I know?
With your 2 levels of margin of success, you were like, oh my god, yes, anybody who touched these absolutely needs to be treated with antifungals yesterday.
Yes. All right, Francisco, you've got a job. Meanwhile, we got to burn these, every single one of them.
Ooh, yeah, I'll burn them. Yeah.
You have 2 jobs then.
Take care of the people. Then you have 2 jobs, yes.
I'd rather burn them first. Can I burn them first, please? Please? Can I burn them first, please? Please?
Okay.
Anybody, I
I'll tell you what, I'll get everybody. McGregor says, McGregor, do you know who Uncle Dursley? I think his name was Dursley. The uncle on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uncle
Does everybody know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No. I don't know.
Hang on. Let me find him.
Yeah, no,
He's actually a fairly famous actor. Uncle Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
Oh God, Petunia,
Let
Dudley,
me find him.
and I cannot remember his first name.
Vernon.
Vernon. That's it.
Or something like that.
Dursley.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Let me find a picture where he's not quite so horrific looking. Because Uncle Dursley looks just terrible. He's just awful.
He's supposed to be.
But it's that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Richard Griffiths. Okay. The actor's name is Richard Griffiths. So let me find like a less horrific picture of Richard Griffiths. Oh, this ain't so bad. Oh my god, he's dead.
Oh man.
Oh,
Aw.
I didn't know he died. Oh well.
Well, Brandon, he will never play this part in the movie then.
Oh. Okay. The guy.
You mean our movie?
Yeah. And remember, I'm played by Alan Hale Sr.
That's some big thinking there, buddy.
Okay. The guy on the left. The guy on the
Yeah.
left is McGregor. He looks. Well, he's not wearing a tuxedo. Obviously, he's wearing Wild West Far Future outfit stuff. But his Wild West Far Future outfit stuff is like the rich guy in town. Like, he's not dressed like a cowhand from outer space. He's dressed like the plantation owner from outer space.
Yeah.
Like, he has lapels on his metallic coat. Like that kind of thing.
I'm going to tell Mr. McGregor that he's got to gather up everybody who's touched these animals because you've got a disease from them.
He's like, oh, well, that's not good. All right. Well,
Yes.
while your
Rather than only
friend
up,
there
you
is
can
setting
take
fire to...
them out.
How is he setting... Oh, my God. That man's on fire.
Yeah, and his owner has a little bit of a glee in his voice like that too when he's doing this.
And you got to trust us.
Is
If
he-
you
is he
don't
all right?
trust us, people are
Oh
gonna-
yeah, he does this from time to time.
Well, while you're taking care of the animal carcasses, I'll gather everyone up, okay? That's what you want, right? All right.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. And he goes in the house and he starts gathering people up.
Imagine how much it would freak him out if John Erlang was here.
Erling is keeping an eye on the crawler to make sure nobody steals it.
He's
Okay.
not like changing form and flying away or anything.
There's another reason why he's
Andy, do you have any medical skills? I mean, who has medical skills here? It was John, wasn't it? Friends, do we have an actual doctor with us?
No, we had a paramedic. Lloyd's
he had EMT-like abilities, right? Paramedic EMT.
Yeah. Now I can use my ultra ability to do healing because I took notes last time I saw Isco
Because I
doing
think
it.
we freaked them out enough, and we don't want Francesco healing them might scare them more.
I could probably build a little healing box, little
something
metapod.
Them with now that like a shot or something that they'd be a little more used to.
I could fake it
rather than Francesco's method.
I could use nanobots and fake it.
My method. It works.
It might scare them.
Yeah, John Erlang actually does have medicine. So
live, be scared. Live, be scared.
We'll say he's helping. I'm helping. Yeah. I'm helping. So, but in the meantime, Isco incinerates all the bodies.
There's no more. More.
McGregor comes out with a crowd of people, and he tells them to line up so that the doctor, he assumes one of you is a doctor, he says, so the doctor can look at you. And he says, now, I couldn't find my son, Edward. He was here earlier. When's the last time anyone saw him? It's like, well, he was with us last night moving the animals, but he got up really early this morning, and I think he was going to go fishing. It's like, all right, well, he'll be back later.
Where's the fishing?
Gotta go get him now.
Yeah, does he have any rations with him? Something with a wrapper?
Did he a wrap? Did he take anything with him? And they're like looking, it's like, I don't know. No. I mean, did he say he was going fishing? And Mary Beth says, no, I just assumed. So he didn't actually say he was going fishing. It's like, well, why else would he get up early in the morning?
That's a shame. If he had a candy wrapper on him, I might be able to find him easier.
You have a machine for it.
I do. Right
He's
here.
Jumping at the bit to use it too, I'm sure.
Well.
Oh, I can go search for him.
Edward's apparently missing.
Well, with John Erlang and we can probably see if there's any indication of a fungal infection. And I think we did have something akin to a first aid kit, which might have an antifungal of some sort in it. But I don't know.
Everyone who has touched the dead animals is infected, including McGregor himself. Like, everybody here is actually infected to various degrees. A couple of them... Who's like Michael's a biologist. So a couple of them are actually very far along. Like
none of them noticed.
Well, they don't feel well, but I mean, who wakes up and goes, ugh, I feel like shit today. I think I'm being taken over by a fungus. No one says that.
I wonder if I can invent a healing ray real quick. No. I take the ion emitter. I change the.
Reverse the polarity.
I'm wondering if the Wicked Witch of the West created this fungus.
That's being my assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who here is survival? Somebody does, right?
I do.
Oh, it's you. Okay, make a survival roll, because the things that did this left a trail.
Oh, okay. Well then, I rolled a 13.
What's survival plus what reason again, or what?
Reason.
Okay, I had a 10.
Let me see how the trail's pretty easy to follow. Yeah, you both find it. There is a fairly clear trail from here into the forest of the things that did this.
Well then.
All right.
Shall we go hunting?
Yeah, I'd like to see that these people that are pretty far along aren't going to bite their friends or anything.
Yeah, you guys should take.
Do you want to try to make like an anti-fungal ray?
Yeah,
Roll some dice.
I am. I really, really am. Okay, that's
Reason plus power. Plus, do you have expertise in anything remotely related to this?
engineering.
Sure. So,
Okay.
2d6 expertise plus your reason plus your power.
Okay, that's a 7 on the dice. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Which is exactly what you needed. I rolled an 11 on 2 dice, which is a really good roll on 2 dice. So,
Yeah, those people were infected.
Yeah, that was very, very difficult to do. But you assemble some pieces, attach a couple of UV projectors and some ionized particle stream things, and you
close your eyes.
tie the whole thing up. And it looks a whole lot like a death ray. So when you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna line them up and shoot them with this, and people are like, whoa.
And who was talking about scaring people? Come on.
They're like, whoa, granddad, you're not gonna let him shoot me with that, is he? Are you?
It's a large hypodermic needle that's going to get rid of the
They are all kinds of freaking out. McGregor, who is the...
I'm going to say there's a large hypodermic needle that's going to get rid of your problem. Look at it that way.
They're like, no!
And you make it look a little less intimidating.
Hang on.
Captain.
McGregor walks over to Captain Harris. He's like, look.
Okay, fine. Hey,
Wait. McGregor was going to talk to Captain Harris. What does Dr. Anna want to say?
If you're afraid of, they're afraid of it. Shoot me with it. Come on. What? I don't have fungus, so it's not going to hurt me.
Yeah,
right?
and any I'll start with the livestock that survived. Show people it doesn't hurt the livestock, and then sweep onto them.
McGregor fixes you with one of his kind of look like this, like.
You're giving him
all right.
a yarn.
I tell you what, you think this will work?
Chances are pretty good.
I think it will. It should. He's pretty good at what he does.
He looks over at the rest of you. He looks at them. He's like, if it doesn't work, what's going to happen to them?
They're going to die.
They will die of the same horrible fungus that they would die of if I don't do anything.
It's what creates the spiders and other things. They're going to become like them.
Okay. I'll tell you what. None of the livestock survived, so that's out. He looks over at Mike. Was like, did you say I have this as well? He does. They all do. His is just barely starting, but he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do it. Shoot your death ray at me. I'm sorry. Shoot your
life ray.
Health ray.
If you say so.
Health ray. Yes, health ray.
We'll see how it goes. And he looks at the rest and he's like, will that prove to you it's safe? And they're like, don't do it! No, Granddad, don't do it! He's like, pfft.
Captain,
I've taken worse than this.
Unconscious, or is
What?
it just going to eliminate the fungus?
What?
I asked the captain, is this going to knock him unconscious, or is it just going to eliminate the fungus?
Oh, just eliminate the fungus. I based it on the same healing frequencies that Isco was using when he cured the people of the ergot poisoning.
Oh, are they going to compare?
Simple. Fire. Cackles a little bit.
All right, McGregor steps aside and says, sock it to me.
Okay.
I like him.
So you blast him, and it's fairly straightforward. You made your roll. It works. So you go, and he goes, oh, tingles a little. Oh, it tastes copper. So they're like,
yeah,
"Are you?"
I was the resistance coil. Sorry about that.
So you finish, and Michael comes and checks him again, and he's clear. And they're like, "You're okay? You're sure?" He's like, "Nah, tickles little. Well, nothing to be afraid of. Ah, don't make me ashamed of you. Go stand over there." And they're like, "Okay."
I start with the person who is the worst off.
Which is one of the children, one of the youngest, like
That makes
13-year-old kid. So they pass straight out. Boom. Chaos ensues as everyone is like, "No, you killed him!" And no, you didn't. But he was so badly infected that at that point, the fungus was the only thing keeping him standing up. He's fine. He'll be fine. And after a few minutes, he wakes up. And he feels way, way better than he did before he passed out. In fact, he doesn't even remember getting up this morning, other than like he remembers vaguely getting up and feeling terrible and going to the bathroom, and that's the last thing he remembers. So he was far gone.
Started to take over.
He was by afternoon he would have followed Edward into the woods. So yeah, he's
I
way
figured
better.
that's what happened to Edward.
Yeah. Oh, actually, he can tell you that. He's like, "Oh, Edward went into the woods. I remember it now. I just felt it somehow." So, but you line the rest of them up and wipe them out, and they're all clean. And like another one passes out, and then the rest feel much better afterward. So, yay, all clean, all healed.
We may have to go check back at the settlement, because we don't. If McGregor touched people there, he may have passed it on.
Oh,
McGregor,
awesome.
did you touch anybody at the settlement?
I'm sure I did.
Well,
I'm sure the whole settlement needs to be cleaned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember they have all those. They also all those other
They all
people
had
that
their own
animals.
death, too.
You know, you don't think they weren't infected?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is going to be like the whole town kind of thing. But first, we need to get Edward back and take care of whatever is causing this thing to spore out.
If you can trust your little
The orcs. They all say the orcs.
I got an idea though. If you can show Mr. McGregor how it works and have him go back to the settlement.
Yeah.
Would that work?
Yeah, you can. Mr. McGregor, you're going to have to.
I leave that to the game master as to whether McGregor has the technical expertise to operate an ultra power heal ray.
You won't be able to use that for anything else while he's doing it.
Because it won't be available.
Right.
It won't work without you.
No, I mean you can loan it to him. You know.
I just can't invent anything until it breaks.
Oh, okay.
Because some of your best parts are in that.
Yeah.
But we need to get those. We don't know how much longer they have. If they're as far gone as Edward, it's better it gets done now.
Well, these people were like dragging bodies into piles and things, and the horses and things. So.
But the others. But McGregor said he touched some of the people from the village too. So.
Yeah, we ought to do a quick sweep through the village before we head off into the woods, just to make sure that.
Okay, well, it's just down the road. You head back to the village. McGregor explains what's going on, and Weaver seems to. Yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense because Timmy and Little Debbie, they've been acting real squirrely this morning, and you see. She points at Little Debbie, who is literally tied on a harness to a post, and she's walking away from the post, like in place, like her feet are moving, and she's just the harness is keeping her from moving away, like a 6-year-old. So yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on. So go ahead and do what you gotta do.
Time to take a nap, Little Debbie.
And she wakes up and goes, "Where's my doll?" Anyway, so you spend a couple of hours cleaning out the town. It's only like 80 people, so it's not a big deal.
And I'll tell Weaver that she doesn't want any more. Don't touch any of the animals.
Noted.
If they get attacked.
Biohazard. Got it.
You got it.
Didn't realize that was a concern.
Burn them. Don't touch them.
Got it. Message received and noted. So you're done with them. Now what?
Oh, time to head off into the woods.
And I probably will not be able to make it through the fight because I got to go to bed and get to work tomorrow.
Well, I really did not expect this to take this long.
Remember, we also try to take care of the people we're trying to take care of.
Well, also, it took me like an hour to get started because we're doing a thing that I wasn't expecting, and I had to get all prepped up for it. So we can pause here. You finish cleansing the town. As far as they do like a census, because McGregor mentions that Edward's just missing. Is anybody here missing? And they do like a census, and nobody here's missing. Little Debbie would be had somebody not caught her and tied her to a post. So, but nobody here's missing. So far, the only person actually who's been taken over by the fungus has been Edward. So,
you realize
now they wouldn't have a source of sugar here, would they?
no, why?
I'm still looking for rum.
I have an idea, though, Donald. That little ray of yours may be just as effective against the critters as the bleach super soakers.
Hmm?
That ray of yours might be as effective against the critters as the super soakers.
Oh, absolutely. We're just
Oh,
killing
that is
them.
possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
What, his antifungal ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot the
Antifungal ray,
antifungal ray at the things coming at us.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
And
sense.
it cures them, and
But we still could use the super soaker type thing, too, for the rest of us. Because you only have...
we're going to go in hot and hard.
Does the fungus turn the people into orcs if it affects them?
It's going to turn them into what those flies...
Honestly, I don't think they know what orcs are.
They're calling them that.
Clearly.
When I mentioned the Cimmerillion, they gave me a weird look. So I really don't think they know what orcs are.
My guess are these orcs are humans that look like they have brains on their faces. I'm guessing.
No, they're orcs. They
Fallen elves.
when you don't appear to know what orcs are, they're all just flabbergasted. Like, how could you not know that? No, orcs. They're
Yeah,
green.
no, I know.
They were feeling the effects of the...
I
They're
know what
green.
orcs are.
They're this tall.
fallen elves.
They're cyborgs. They're violent. They're orcs.
There's cyber orcs. Cyborgs.
They're getting the psychotropic effects of the fungus.
Okay, so if you
No,
needed
no,
evidence that
no.
we did not that we're from the past, let's see.
No.
AI and
Y'all are missing it.
cyborgs.
Y'all
Yeah.
missing it. They're cyborgs.
Of course.
Cyborgs.
Yeah.
That's funny. Cyborgs.
But they're seeing what they're most afraid of because of the psychotropic effects of the fungus.
Or there really are cyborgs here,
They
and
might be, yeah.
And who knows, we may have to broker a peace deal between the people here and the cyborgs. Either way, it's going to be good for trade with tranquility.
yeah.
You're a long ass way from tranquility.
It doesn't matter. We can fly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to need to go to bed.
Okay, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up right now.
Okay.
So you've cleansed the town. You have been told yet again that the orcs are the ones responsible for all this because they have apparently genetically engineered these monsters to come and attack. I mean, that's obvious. So
Might be still the
So obvious.
so obvious. It's so obvious that the orcs are behind all this. We will come back to this next week. Hopefully Lloyd can play and his mom will be feeling much better.
I hope
Yes.
so.
So,
This has been Pirates of the Mesozoic with Craig Smith, Donald Von Griffin, Karen Torres, Leslie Danaberger, and me, Brandon Blackmore. I got nothing. Evan Williams, honey. Sponsor my show. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.